Hey guys, it's Sonia. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you are well. So today we're talking about Miss Marjorie Harvey, the wife of Steve Harvey, and we're going to talk about her in the sense of how she uses the 48 laws of power. Now, I know a lot of people who are not familiar with the 48 laws of power. The 48 laws of power is a book written by Robert Greene. This is a national bestseller. This book teaches you about power dynamics in relationships, and that could be corporate or any other relationship that you may have. And I feel like this book is a great book. It's been called the Narcissist Bible, but I don't think of it like that. I think of it like a book for people who may not have had parents that taught them the true nature of people, how people operate, especially like in the workforce. And especially if you're dealing with people who are in corporate America or who work in corporate, there's always this power dynamic. Power essentially means influence. And so you can understand how people are trying to influence you for their benefit. And you can use some of these laws yourself if you want to influence people. This book is a great book for people who grew up really sheltered and who kind of grew up with some naivete, which is the reason why he said he wrote the book, because once he got into the real world, he realized that, people don't always do things on the up and up, and there's a power game always being played. And it's also a good book if you are in the business world or you're dealing with people. You need to understand how people operate. So really, it's a good book to let you know how people may be thinking and how people may be operating. It really isn't a book that is centered around trying to teach you how to manipulate people. It's more so, how do you recognize these behaviors? Some of the tactics or laws in the book are actually what you really need in order to survive. And it isn't about trying to cause harm. It truly is about understanding what's going on, understanding power play, and understanding how to be confident. And this book helps you navigate with dealing with people in a confident manner. He has some other books, Art of Seduction, Mastery, things like that. I really enjoy Robert Greene's book. He's one of my favorite authors of this time. Okay, so as I was doing my video outline for another Marjorie video, which I'm going to talk about self-esteem, I noted, she's using some laws of power here, and I think I want to do a video about it. This video is dedicated to you guys, but in particular to Miss Dinita Oliver, who requested videos on Marjorie Harvey and her self-esteem and things of that sort. There will be another video coming, though. I just want to say that. So we're going to talk about the laws of power. I'm going to leave a PDF link, if I am allowed to, in the description box below, so you can just look at the different laws of power if you do not want to read the whole book. The book itself, though, is a national bestseller, and it is used by a lot of powerful people. It also has been banned from jail in fear of the power dynamic shift that can happen in that environment because of the book. I think all women should read this book, because if you are dealing with any powerful men, a lot of these strategies are used by these men. If you are a woman who is trying to climb the ladder in corporate America, this is also a good book for you. So in this video, I'm going to take 7 out of the 48 laws of power and apply it to how I see Marjorie navigate in her relationship with Steve, and really just how she carries herself in general. Marjorie Harvey is 58 years young. She is married to Steve Harvey. She is also a fashion designer. She's a blogger, and her and Steve own the Marjorie and Steve Harvey Foundation, and it is a foundation to help the youth. But primarily, she's known as Steve Harvey's wife, which leads me to the number 1 law of power, and that is never outshine the master. Now, before you're triggered by the term master, because that's not how we're going to use it, we're going to change the context here. What she is saying and what the book is saying basically is we all have our own lane. Stay in your lane. Marjorie is not a subordinate to Steve. Marjorie is Marjorie in her own right, and a lot of people are very interested in her style, her fashion, in her way of carrying herself, thus this video. But Marjorie doesn't fight or compete for Steve's space. She's not in competition with Steve. She's not trying to be a host. She's not trying to outshine him. She allows Steve to be Steve, and she is Marjorie. And you can tell she's very happy and comfortable in that space. And that is key. She doesn't try to disrespect him. She doesn't try to tear him down. She's not fighting for his attention. She is simply existing in her own greatness. This is such a huge lesson on so many levels. I may do another video just on this law alone, as far as like how you can navigate in the workplace and different relationships. But I want to say this: there's only one you. There's only one you. You were created with your own greatness. You don't have to covet anyone. You don't have to try to push anyone out of the way for you to be who you are and be in your own greatness. And that is something that this law speaks to. Let your partner be who they are, and you be who you are in your own greatness. There's room for both of you to coexist. The next law that I see Marjorie use is law number 4, which is say less than necessary. One thing I can say is Marjorie is a woman of mystery, right? We do hear her speak, we hear her talk, but she's a woman of mystery. Everything about her life and her and Steve's relationship isn't a conversation to be had. She cherishes her relationship. She cherishes her relationships with her family and with her friends. You never hear her speaking about her personal life to any extent. You know just enough about her. You know what you need to know. Another thing is that it's really sexy to have a little mystery about yourself. And as my grandmother would say, before you give someone information, you need to find out what they're going to do with it, right? And everyone isn't going to do great things with the information that you share. So what is your intention for sharing all of your life's business and all of your personal thoughts? Some things should be left personal, right? And she does that. There is a great mystery to her, and I like that about Marjorie. Another way she applies this is when it comes to rumors and things like that. You won't hear her respond to them, and if she do, it's a very quick response, and that's pretty much it. Like when people were saying they were getting a divorce a few years ago, Marjorie said, "I hear you want a divorce." He said, "I hear you want a divorce. I don't want one. I don't want one." And that was the end of it. That's all you heard, right? Because sometimes the more information you give, the more people use that information against you. And it doesn't matter. You two know what you have. You two know what you're doing. They know that they're staying married and they weren't getting a divorce. So that was the end of that. Also, when Steve has had his public mishaps, she comes out in support of him. She's not off doing interviews, in-depth tell-alls. She's not betraying her partnership. She's not betraying her partner. She's respecting her relationship. And there isn't anything left to be said other than, baby, I support you. I love you. You made a mistake. You'll be okay. Let's keep it moving. So next law we're going to talk about is law number 5. So much depends on your reputation. Guard it with your life. Marjorie's reputation says that she's a lady of class and that she is a lady of fashion, right? And she is Steve Harvey's wife. You don't know anything else. She has not confirmed or denied any of the rumors that have come out about her past and her husband's or anything like that. She doesn't try to tear down her ex's reputation. She doesn't try to tear down Steve's reputation, and she carries herself well, right? So when people think of her, they're not thinking of someone with a nasty attitude, someone who is standoffish, someone that is inappropriate. You don't hear any of that. She carries herself with respect and honor. She respects and honors her husband and their marriage and her family, and she presents and carries herself in that way. The next law we're going to talk about is law number 10. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. Her circle is small. When you see Marjorie, you see her with her husband, her children, a few of her friends, and her parents. That's it. You don't see her too much with a lot of people, a lot of different people. Her circle is small. And that's number 1, the green-eyed monster is real. We know this with the recent death of Miss Robinson, and the green-eyed monster is envy. When people are envious of you, they will try to destroy what it is that you have. She's very mindful of the circle that she has. You don't see her around a lot of people. You may see her with some female friends every blue moon, but for the most part, you see Marjorie with her family, right? So make sure you have a healthy, tight circle. We can't choose the family we're birthed into, but you can choose the family that you build on in your adulthood. So choose wisely, and you can tell that she does that. As I stated with Lori, you never hear any of Marjorie's friends or family coming out divulging information about her. It says a lot about her circle. They're not talking about Steve and his life. They're not talking about her and her life. You don't even really hear much about Memphis. All you know is that she was married twice before. She was married to some kingpins allegedly, but even with that, she's divorced and she's moved on with her life, right? So you don't hear a lot about her personal life. That speaks to the circle of people that she keeps around her. These are people that she trusts, and there's mutual respect there. Says that is the next law of power I see Marjorie Harvey implementing is law number 11. Keep people dependent on you. Now, I'm going to switch this up a little bit. I don't think she's keeping people dependent on her, but I do think she is a person of value. And I do believe that Steve sees her value as irreplaceable. And he has basically said that. He has said how she has changed his life. She came into his life. She helped their son, Winton. I guess he was behind in school, and Steve said himself on his show that she stepped in and helped him navigate that process to get him up to par so that he can go to college. So she's a great support person for his children. He said that he feels comfortable with her. His children feel comfortable with her. Her house is a place of safety. She provides a great home for him. She encourages him. When he had the mishap at the pageant, she was the one who got him through that. So for Steve, her attributes, who she is as a woman, who she is as a person, is irreplaceable for him. And I think that's something a lot of us can learn from. Sometimes we think that our careers define us when really it's the soul of who you are. So when you develop yourself from the inside out as a good person, people will want you because you want people to want you, for who you are as a person, right? Not necessarily what they can gain from you. So her presence in his life makes his life better, which makes him happy to do anything for her. We as women have so much power just in our true essence. Once you heal yourself and tap into that, you become a great asset to the people that resonate with you. Okay. Steve loves this woman and he tells the world. He professes all the time. He lets you know, I work my finger to the bone and I'm fine with it because it provides her the life that she wants to have. And I'm okay with that. And we live good. And who can be mad at that? You can't be mad at someone who's saying, listen, because of what you give me, I'll do anything for you. The next law I see Marjorie following is law number 34. That law says, be royal in your fashions, act like a queen to be treated like one. The way you carry yourself determines how people treat you. What you allow determines how people treat you. And you see her carrying herself well. You see her put together all the time, even when she's comfy. Sometimes, when she's fishing and her other habits, you may see her in casual dress. You will see her in a jumpsuit, but you will always see that she's well groomed and well put together. She handles herself and carries herself very well. And that in turn tells people what is required when you interact with her. You may also have to correct some individuals or set your boundaries or assert your standards when you're dealing with people who don't quite know. And if these people can't understand what is required to be in a relationship with you, you then have the power to say, well, I'm going to remove myself because you don't understand how to treat me. And these are my requirements, right? They tell the story, Steve and Marjorie, about how they first met and also how they solidified their relationship. And the story goes, Steve pretty much had just gotten a divorce. He decided he was going to be a player. She was at his hotel or apartment. He was on the phone with another woman. She got up, she packed her stuff, and she said, listen, this is not what I want for me and my children. Look, I want to be married and I want a good father for my children. Steve broke the phone. 6 months later, they were engaged and then they were married. She asserted her standard. She asserted her requirements. She didn't fight him. She didn't yell at him. She didn't tell him you got to change. She didn't keep taking him back. She didn't deal with it and make a scene about it. She simply stated, this is what I want. And you obviously aren't there. When you get there, you come see me. And that is how you do it. That is chef's kiss right there. Okay. Basically, if you want to be treated like a queen, you have to present yourself, carry yourself like a queen. If you want to be treated like a wife, you have to present yourself, treat yourself like a wife. However you want to be treated, you have to treat yourself and carry yourself as such, right? A lot of people have had a lot to say about Marjorie only dating men of wealth or men with money. There isn't anything wrong with that. If your goal is to have someone who is financially secure and stable and can afford you the life that you want, that is what you should go after. We've been taught that we should want someone to struggle with. No, you don't have to have a struggle buddy. You can have someone who is resourceful and who is established, right? It's not to say that she only wants him for his money, but saying I want someone who has money, that's okay. There isn't anything wrong with that. What I would like to say is that even Steve understood it. He said, at the time we were dating initially, was running out of money. I was about to be homeless. And so I stopped going to see her. Marjorie said he didn't have to do that. You know, they could have made it through. But for him himself, the way she carries herself stated, you need somebody to take care of you. And I am not in a place where I can take care of you to where I feel like you deserve it. So let me back up and get myself together. You have to understand that men size their women up. Men size you up. And they look at you. My granddad used to always say that. He said they look you up and down and they try to figure out if they can afford you. So how you carry yourself is important. It does not make you a gold digger because you want someone of status, someone of value, and someone who can ensure that you have the life you want to live. Okay. The other law of power that I see Marjorie following is number 46, which says, never appear too perfect. There's a lot of reasons you shouldn't appear too perfect. I'll do another video on this law as well. Marjorie is still relatable. You can see her going fishing. You can see her jet skiing. You can see her hanging out with her children. Although she wears couture fashion and she wears a lot of high-end items, you can see her with her jogging suit on. She's always smiling. She has a nice, soft, calm voice when she speaks to you. In so many ways, she lets you know that she's still human and she's still approachable. And she's not above approach, right? Because she doesn't give the impression that she doesn't like people and she's better than everyone else. She's still very much a relatable person, right? You can tell she's a young lady from the South who loves nice things and loves a nice life. You know, you can see her laughing and joking and having fun. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts on Marjorie. Do you agree or disagree with what I have to say as far as the laws of power? If you are familiar, let me know if you're familiar. Let me know if you want me to do a series on the laws of power. I can do that. Also, let me know your thoughts on this video down below. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I also do coaching as my goal is to promote healing so that you can have healthy relationships and date in a safe, healthy manner. So my links are in the bio if you want to get in touch with me for coaching. Okay. All right. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Please don't forget to love yourself for who you are. Take care. Bye-bye.